What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to SceneDMs. It's Makai McIntosh here with my boy, Dwayne Deuce Wayne, as they say. Deuce Wayne, sorry. I didn't want to disrespect my mans. Glad to be back, man. Excited to be back. We got a lot of stuff cooking for season 2, man, and just excited that we are able to be here in person, like we talked about in the last episodes. And, just teaching people about movies, man. These people don't know about movies like that, so we gotta teach these people about movies.
They don't know nothing.
They don't really know it like that. But yeah, man, how you feeling, dude?
I'm feeling good. Blessed day, beautiful day outside. We're back in this great studio, Waterfront Studios. The vibe is immaculate. Got Amanda on the film. Some BTS content, but yeah, it's gonna be a good episode today. It's issue 23.
Yes,
the one where they're all grown up.
Yes, sir.
And so when we talk about that kind of stuff, well, before we get into the episode, first of all, please introduce me as Deuce Wayne every time, because remember that meme that came out the other day, where it's like, what did they say, like 97 or 94% of people, males, believe they're actually Batman. Like I'm literally that demographic that they're talking about. Like I believe that I'm Batman. I'm gonna just start off with that.
Bro, I'm not introducing you as Deuce Wayne every time, bro.
Why not?
I'm not doing that.
This guy took his glasses off, bro. It's not that serious.
Grow up, bro.
He said, grow up. Grow up?
Yes.
Bro, what's your tattoo have? What tattoo do you have?
I'll proudly say it. A Goofy movie tattoo is lit. What are you talking about? I'm a child. I told you. I know.
All right, but before we get into the episode, I have to ask you a serious question, because last episode I think we talked about a little bit. One in Time got canceled, and it's not because of the delivery of the show or the actors or the performances or even the storyline, because it's definitely a show that we both loved, just being basketball players. But even if we didn't play basketball, I think it would be a great show just to get kind of a history of the Showtime Lakers. Mm-hmm. But, because of the writer's strike and everything that's going on, it got canceled.
Is that why it got canceled?
I think
said HBO said because of the numbers.
The numbers? Well, I think the numbers had to deal with the writers.
Some of the people that they were portraying did not like.
They didn't like how they were being portrayed.
But
one thing I know about life is that if someone else was to make a movie about you, and it's an honest portrayal of you, then there's going to be some things that you don't like.
Of course. Why in God's name would I want it to be the honest truth? That's that's why people literally are in the back when they're doing like these biographies about people. Like, they're not going to talk about the bad moments, because which makes
the movie's not that good.
It's not authentic.
Yeah, it has to be authentic in
like
nature.
When somebody else does it and you're not involved, I feel like that's the most authentic.
That's what it's the best.
That's the most authentic.
Yo, when someone else is behind you, you're like, nah, bro. Of course they're going to say this and say that about themselves.
Exactly.
But I agree with you. But with this whole AI and chat PT thing going on, I feel like the studios are trying to cut costs and also cut the efficiency by having them write certain scripts or turn out. They're trying to say the jobs that these people have are going to be able to be done by, essentially AI and chat PT. How do you feel about that?
Well, seeing as we talked about 2 episodes ago, we talked about Will Smith. Clearly, that people haven't watched a lot of movies.
They didn't watch iRobot.
They didn't watch. Thank you. They have not watched iRobot. So you're telling me that you're thinking you're going to put all this information into these machines, artificial intelligence, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, right, they're just going to follow your lead and forever follow your lead. Is that not a recipe for disaster?
Hey man, it's Ultron.
We've seen Terminator. We've seen iRobot, Ultron. We saw all this stuff, man. People are moving sick. I don't know why, but it's actually pretty disappointing, because I feel like writers do a lot of the things. Like when I grew up and understood that writers actually like write some of the jokes.
They're like the backbone.
Yeah, they're the backbone. Write the jokes for comedians and stuff. I was like, yo, like I didn't know that. I didn't know it was like that's how deep it went for the writers. So I was like, yo, like they should get a lot more recognition than they do. And I don't think they want the recognition. They just want the money. Yeah, which they deserve. I think they just want like the money for the job that they do.
Then that's a good point, because if they wanted recognition, then they probably. I hear so many times, like I told you when I was in Vancouver, I was fortunate enough to go to acting class. Yeah, and you hear some of these things from people where it's like, I didn't want to be on the camera. I want to be behind the scenes. Yeah. Like being on camera is not my forte. And I think that's what you're talking about. Like some of these writers, some people that like being in production, they don't want to be actors. They don't want to be famous like that. They just want to get valued. And I feel like
some people like being behind the scenes, like you said. So.
And like you said, I think they just want to get the money. That's all they really want and care about. And we talked about this before in the first season, but Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have that production company. I think it's Equity or something like that, where they literally are paying everybody in production, all the writers, everything more, because they believe they deserve more and they understand that. So I think that, that needs to be done across the table for Hollywood for sure.
But it's hard because these big time companies, that's how they became billionaires in the first place, and $1 billion companies is because they, they try to penny pinch, as they say.
Stush.
Very stush. And watching pockets and stuff like that. So I think that it's like super unfair to not only the writers, but it's definitely unfair to the actors and actresses too, because even if you see all the stuff that's going on with that, is the residuals.
Yeah.
The residuals are what they're actually fighting for as well. Because there's some guys that say like their show's on Netflix and they get no residuals for it.
Crazy.
Like all these movies are on Netflix right now. You're thinking that all these people are still getting paid for it and they're like getting nothing. So I think that it is unfair, and I think these big time companies is only the right thing to do. You know what I mean? And we just want everybody to be. I mean, I feel like that's not a hard ask.
Yeah,
to ask for fair pay for everybody for the work that they do. If they don't do the work, then obviously don't pay them. But if they do the work, then pay them. So yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me, the disappointing thing, is that so many movies that we want to come out and are expecting to see and are excited about are getting pushed back, delayed. And then you have just some projects that aren't getting made at all. They're being put on the shelf. So it's tough. And then, like I said, you have certain shows, certain movies, whatever the case, are being canceled or being sent straight to whatever. So it's a tough time for sure. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it doesn't last till 2024.
Well, I don't remember if you remember this, but it happened a long time ago too, and that's why some of our shows,
the quality
bad. The quality, you can always tell when the writers weren't there.
Yeah.
I think the lost finale or that final season or whatever it is actually was during that time where they had no writers. So that's why
it doesn't
end the way people wanted it to, and they just try to find a cheap ending. Is because none of these people can do what writers do.
Yeah.
Nobody can. So.
Right. And this is the last point about the AI and the chat PT stuff. It's kind of like, and you're a big Drizzy fan. So how do you feel about the Drake and the Weeknd AI type song? Like, I kind of feel like, okay, cool.
But you see that it's going to be it's qualifying for a Grammy, right?
Which is crazy to me. But I'm saying you could tell that it's not them. Like, you could tell like there's no soul, no heart behind it. Of course, it sounds like whatever, wavy, and to each his own. But like, you could really tell like.
I heard one of the tracks though.
This is a banger.
Is that new Drake? Okay, it's what he's doing now.
He said, "Oh yeah, that's crazy." But moving on, man. I know we're talking a lot about the careers of successful actors and actresses that transition from child kid stars into successful stars as adults when it comes to Hollywood. And I think we're going to focus more on the positive examples. Of course, we could sit here and talk about some of the negative ones and the bad ones that we've witnessed and seen how, those careers have panned out. But I think one of my biggest questions for you is, what are the obstacles and factors that some of these children or, child stars have to face that potentially derail their careers as promising young talent?
I actually have a few answers. I think that one of the obstacles would be parents. Parents are a big one. I feel like they can derail their kids because they can pressure them into doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Like, for example, like the Drew Barrymore. I don't remember if you remember back in the day, Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore had was seen photographed at a club, and she was only like, I forget how old she was.
Yeah.
She was only like 8 years old or something like that. But she was in the club, like in the club. Like in the club, not like on a joke thing.
Nah.
She was in the club, around people that were doing drugs and doing all this stuff. And then obviously she had her own problems. So I think that parents are a big time obstacle. I think another one would be stardom. I feel like when you have the stardom and the recognition when you're a child, you just don't know what to do with it. It's like an avalanche of like so much, like at the exact same time.
Attention, you're getting anything you want in abundance.
And then it's like, and you're like, yo, what do I do with it? And you don't know what to do with it because you don't have, your mind is not expanded enough to even know what to do.
It's not fully formed.
You exactly.
You haven't had these experiences.
They don't even know what they want to do like tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? I remember when I was 8, fam, I wanted to do everything in this world. So
this guy wanted to be
I want to be a soccer player. I want to play soccer on the moon. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, they make no sense, obviously. But yeah, so I think that's another obstacle. I think, another one is stalling out.
Ooh.
So I think it's like they're great as kids, but then it doesn't translate to when they're older and adults.
Yeah.
Because of it kind of ties into what I'm going to say next with typecasting.
Okay.
I don't know if that was what you were going to say.
No, I was going to say, because again, we always bridge the gap between film and basketball and the world of athletics. We see that a lot in some careers where it's like, I don't even want to throw nobody's name out there.
Do not say no names.
Man, I'm saying somebody's name. I remember going to South Carolina, and I remember Seventh Woods being like a phenomenon, like, you know what I mean, on YouTube, like the next guy, whatever. And then when he went to, you know, UNC, it just didn't pan out. His game didn't translate. I'm not saying he's trash or whatever. I'm just saying it wasn't the same hype. And sometimes, like you're saying, getting that hype at a young age is kind of hard to carry that burden, and because some people will stop working. Some people would think, okay, I'm here now. I've arrived already. Like, I'm already viral. Like, everybody knows who I am. I don't got to put that much work in. And it could be the same thing for acting. Maybe they stop, you know, doing the essentials that they got to do to even get them to that point. You know
but it's even deeper than that, because it comes down to like emotional and mental work. You know what I mean? It's not even like, yo, they just put so much pressure on themselves to do this stuff. Yeah. That then when they do this stuff, they're just like, yo, I don't know, like I don't know if I can do this. Right. Then they put so much pressure to do well that they end up messing it up, because that's just like what people do. When you put too much pressure on yourself to do something, then obviously you're going to mess it up. So that's the simple fact of it, right? Right. So I think that's like one of the pressures of it, because it's just like, yo, you're trying so hard to be good that you end up being bad. And it's like an overflowing thing. You know what I mean? The obsession with being good. If you're obsessed with getting better, that's a different conversation. There's a different conversation, but obsession with being good is one thing. So I think another one would be, like I said, typecasting. Yeah. I think that a lot of people get stuck in that, or that kid role, and then like when they get older, maybe maybe respectfully, some of their glow ups, their things like that. Some studios, you know how studios are, they want attractive people. Yeah. Some of them don't end up being as attractive as or like not even attractive, but as like oh, adorable as they were as a kid. Right. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh yeah, we don't want this person anymore because they don't look the same. They didn't look how we thought they would look and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of like teenage boys in movies go through that a lot, where they're just like, yo, they look, oh my god, and the girls and teenage girls like love them and all that stuff, and then they get older and they're like, yo, it's not the same. It's because they murked. So I think that's one of them, appearance, but also just ability too. You get stuck in, it's like Alfonso Ribeiro, what's his name again? I forget his last name, but he talks about Carlton. He says he just got stuck in that role, man. It's just like nobody could see him other than Carlton, and like it hurts a lot of people. Like it hurts a lot of people, and I think that it hurts them. And
they still ask him to do the dance to this day.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like you can never run away from it. It's like also like cool because it's so iconic, but at the same time annoying because it's like, yo, I want to do something else. Especially if you're like an artist. If you're somebody that's like a one-hit wonder and you just did it to just BS, then you're just like, oh yeah, I don't care. Like obviously, like that's.
But if you're passionate about the craft,
exactly, and you want to like, it's like when music, it's like people like, oh, I just missed that old music that they used to do. It's like, yo, I'm making new music. I'm like, you know what I mean? And the last one I'll say before you can say your list is substance abuse. Yeah, I think substance abuse is one of the biggest derailers of young kids because they don't know how to deal with their emotional and mental things. Yeah. So then they decide that, like, you know what? Let me try to find things in alcohol, in drugs, or whatever the case may be, and anything else, whatever it is, and then they get hooked, and then they rehab, and it's like a whole cycle. You know what I mean? It's not their fault because they got like Hollywood really just like eats people up and spits them out.
They really do.
And I feel like when you're a kid, it's even worse because unless you have like people like around you that are taking care of you and making sure that you're fine. And sometimes parents are, like I said, the ones that are like pushing them into that way. Yeah. So it's a whole thing. And so that's my list of.
It's wild because Hollywood is kind of fickle, and like you said, it'll love you one day and hate you the next. So,
but it's like sports. It's like anything, fam. Like, you know what I mean, you can have a good season this season, and next season bad season, and everybody hates you.
What have you done for me lately? Exactly. That's the world we live in.
It's always what it is. So
it's crazy. You know what I was gonna say, because you had like a great list and some excellent points. I was gonna say social media, I feel like, has a big role, especially just in today's society and how people compare themselves to others. I just think that, you know, that's something that kind of adds to that loom of competing, and then also having that mental battle with yourself, putting that pressure on yourself when it comes to honing your skills and talent, and not even just developing and allowing yourself to be a kid. Like some people also, you know how it is when you make a movie, you were blessed enough to be on set for something before, and it takes a long time to, you know, that's a large part of your life. So now you're being homeschooled. Now you're not being able to have the same interactions with certain people. You know, it's a different childhood. And you hear it a lot with a lot of stars that grow up and say they weren't fortunate to have this and that and the third because they were, in a trailer for most of the day. They had to do acting class. They had to do this, that, and the third.
And the only people they interacted with, especially if it's not a kids movie or kids thing,
adults.
Is adults.
Yeah.
So then they grow up way too fast, and they're, they like you said, on social media when they shouldn't be. They're doing all this stuff when they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? So their interactions aren't the same as like a kid going to actual school and doing the things they need to do. So
yeah, and I was gonna say the last probably point is that you made an interesting point about the availability of roles, like everyone competing for the roles. You talked about the young males and stuff like that, and I think that happened a lot. Like when I think about the late '90s or early 2000s, I think of like the Brendan Frasers, I think about the Leos, I think about the Matt Damons, the Ben Afflecks, like kind of the Tom Cruises. They're kind of all in the same age group. You know what I'm saying? The Chris Pines, like all those guys. So it's like they were really, really competing for the same roles. Like literally, like, yo, fam, I see you at the audition. I just saw that last week. Oh, you going for this part too? Like, okay, he got it. Like, and whoever gets it, it's like, okay.
Remember, I think who came out and said that? What actor came out and said that he used to get cheesed because whenever Leo got around there, like, here goes the part, bro. The part's gone. Like, here goes the part we wanted. It's gone. I forget who was saying it. I remember if it was like Ben Affleck or Matt Damon or it was like Brad Pitt, but like I think they even said about Brad Pitt too. They said Brad Pitt would just get anything he wanted. So. Yeah. So
it's kind of like being a hooper and you go to a trial and it's like, bro, Braun's here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What the hell is he doing here?
Why is Braun trying out?
That's what I'm saying. Like, go home, bro. You already won. They gotta go. So.
Nah, for real. All right, bro, but that was a great intro. We're about to get into the episode. Before we do, we're going to take a quick media timeout. SceneDMs will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, Dwayne, where'd you get that sweater?
You mean this sweater right here?
Yeah.
The SceneDM sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, SceneDMs podcast, man. They got some stuff coming out. If I were you, I'd stay hip to it.
Oh, crazy.
Hey, where'd you get that sweater?
Oh, I also got it from SceneDMs.
What you talking about, Makai? I ain't never seen that before.
What are you talking about? It says SceneDMs.
All right, we are back. We're here. Issue 23, SceneDMs, the one where they're all grown up. And let's just jump right into it, Merv. I think when I say a childhood star that grew up and became an important, vital, prominent actor in Hollywood in their adult career, who are some of the people that come to mind?
We talked about this for a long time ago.
Yeah. We've had this conversation before.
We had this conversation before. Yeah. Obviously off air, but I think one of the ones, especially given the fact that we had to watch a movie for our last draft that we did. Not last draft, but our last 1994 draft.
Yeah.
And where I had to watch Leon the Professional. And Natalie Portman in that movie. Man, as a young actor having such a major role,
right?
It was crazy, honestly. But to see her still grow into the person she was only 13 years old in Leon the Professional.
Wow.
14 years old in Heat, where she was beside the juggernauts of Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Goodness.
And she was still able to, like, you know what I mean, show her stuff, like, regardless of the situation of what was going on. She was still able to, like, be, like, an integral part of the story.
Yeah. Without her, I don't think that story would have moved how it moved. I mean, in certain parts, but it would take away from the side plot of Pacino's character and, like, what he was trying to pursue and drive that point home of, like, he is a man that is on a mission and he puts his job before everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has some iconic scenes in that movie that is really hard to carry out and deliver as a child.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how a child is able, at 14 years old, is able to act that well and do that well.
Shout out to her agents, bro. She had both those movies back to back. Like, if she was to retire off those two movies, that's a crazy, like, I know it's like only two movies, but that's a crazy filmography to have. Like,
yeah, but I mean, she did run into some problems in the first one where her parents were actually, like, she's an example of parents actually being on her side, at least for the first movie. I don't know how her relationship with her parents, but Leon the Professional, there was actually supposed to be a lot more intimate scenes with Leon. And she was only 13 years old at the time. And even for her to be doing the whole dressing up and doing that stuff, that part in the movie was a little too much.
Right.
But like we said, if you have parents in your corner, then and they're able to cancel out a lot of scenes that they were trying to do, then I mean, it makes it great. But for her to go on from Leon the Professional at 13 years old, Heat at 14, at 18 years old, I believe she starred in Star Wars Episode 1. Then she was in Star Wars Episode 2, Episode 3, fam. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? You start off out of the gates like that, you know what I mean? You're bound to be on a wave. And then she was obviously in V for Vendetta, Black Swan, you know what I mean? And Thor. But, she is, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking, let me, cause this is just off the top, man. So I just remember, trying to see if there's anything else that stands out. But those are the ones that stand out to me personally.
Yeah, no, she had a lot.
I mean, No Strings Attached, but No Strings Attached is a knockoff of Friends of Benefits.
And Friends of Benefits is better.
Way better. So yeah, man, and I think that that's crucial to be able to go at such a young age, to be able to go from there and then be in Star Wars, be in V for Vendetta, and V for Vendetta is elite, and then Black Swan is elite. So I think it's pretty noble, and it shows her range and her ability.
But yo, you know what's crazy? Because I feel like Jodie Foster, because that's someone that I have too, and I put in the same regard, because Jodie Foster's been acting since she was 5 years old, and starting off with the sitcom Mayberry, RFD, and she had like a prolific run, but then she was Napoleon, and then Samantha, like at the age of 9, it was crazy because then she was in Martin Scorsese's Taxi driver, and she kind of, that's what was her breakout role, and she propelled to stardom. And you made an interesting point about Natalie, and Foster was actually the same age. She was 13 at the time, and it was crazy because there was a lot of controversy because of the sexualization of her character. And this is exactly what you were talking about. So there's like a similarity between, I guess, you know, being at that age and being in certain movies, depending on what kind of film it is. But she also had, you know, the parents that were in her corner as well, because she had to undergo psychiatric assessment and was basically accompanied by a social worker on set at all times. And her older sister was the one who acted in at the certain sexual scenes that were suggestive, so that she didn't have to do it as like a double.
Oh, really?
So she really had people in her corner to make sure that she was protected as well. And then obviously she's one of the biggest actresses of all time now. She was in films like Silence of the Lambs, The Accused. She also won an Oscar and a Best Actress award, and she's also transitioned into directing. And you know me, I love directing. So her doing The Little Man Tate and continuing to do stuff like Money Monster and much more. It's just like cool to see that. Again, we talk about, you know, people who their star kind of dims in Hollywood, but you have people who are protected, and you have people in their corner who are making sure that, okay, yeah, you're going to do this movie, and yeah, it might be sexually suggestive in some of the stuff that you're doing, but we're going to protect you at all costs and make sure that you get the best experience possible, and you do what you need to be done for the movie to still come off and be believable, but to still protect your, you know, your innocence as a child. So
exactly. No, man, that I think that it's really important. I think protecting the kids is like one of the most important things. And like if my child came to me and was just like, yo, I want to be an actor, actress, or you know what I mean? And it'd be pretty hard to like hear them say that, because I feel like most of the time the parents are the ones that pick them to do that.
I think so.
Because they don't know, you know what I mean? They don't know they want to do this, or they don't know they want to do that. So it's pretty interesting. But one of the child actors I have that, you know what I mean, it's kind of controversial, because you said that, well, one, because of his history, but also because of, you were saying that he kind of wasn't a child, I guess. But even Stevens Mans, my dog, Shia LaBeouf. Sorry.
You know what's crazy?
Is it LaBeouf? I'm not a French man still, so I don't know.
French. You know me, I'm not good in Quebec or Montreal.
Anybody speak French in here? I don't know. I don't speak French still, so I don't know.
It's Femele Bush. I don't know what that means.
What?
Femele Bush?
Isn't that like a bad word?
Oh.
Is that a bad word?
Oh.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Nah, but first of all, I see why you'd pick him, but at the same time I don't, because I'm like, I don't think he has that many roles as a child actor in terms of in movies.
Disrespectful.
And I don't want to bring this to the negative side, but did you see that movie Honey Pot, or whatever, this Honey Boy or whatever, with his pop? Great movie. I'm saying great movie.
Okay.
It was loosely based off his life, right?
Yeah.
So that just goes to what we were talking about, not being protected, because his pops was like forcing him into that, right?
And
then his pops was drinking.
Yeah, there's a whole thing, bro. He like him and his like family just like have like a crazy beef, because he made the money from even Stevens, and they wanted the money, and they wanted all this stuff, and they were like just doing stuff to him, and it like really messed with his head, and
almost saw like a meltdown. And
unfortunately, he did a lot of different things, like, you know what I mean, he ran into the substance abuse thing that we talked about. He ran into the domestic violence things that we talked we didn't even talk about, but that's one of the things as well. It's just the mental fortitude you have to have as a child, because he was only 13 around there, 13, 14 when he started Even Stevens.
Great show, by the way.
He was about 17 when he finished, and then on top of that, he went on to be in so many big time movies. He was in iRobot, small role, but obviously a very funny, memorable role. He was in Disturbia. He was in Transformers 1, 2, and 3.
And I ain't gonna lie, that's the only Transformers that I acknowledge.
Yes. Yes, easily.
Sorry, Mark Wahlberg.
Dark Side of the Moon is probably my favorite because of you, Rosie. Anyways,
wait, you said wasn't there? Because around that time he did Disturbia. There was something else I remembered out. What was the one where he was on house arrest?
Disturbia.
Oh,
as I said,
okay.
Disturbia.
But there was another. There's another one that he did. Another action, like a thriller around that time. He was definitely
Eagle
a
Eye?
guy. Yeah, Eagle Eye.
Yeah, Eagle Eye's on here.
Eagle Eye's a sleeper.
Yeah, it's the year after Transformers came out.
Yep.
And then he obviously did so many Lawless. Fury with Brad Pitt. I forget who else is in that joint.
Yo, Lawless is crazy.
Honey Boy, as you said. And I think that there's like so many Peanut Butter Falcon shot. So this one's funny only because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But my old coach from Australia.
Yeah.
He's been telling me, Jacob, he's been telling me, yo, you need to watch Peanut Butter Falcon. He asked me the entire year, watch Peanut Butter Falcon, watch Peanut Butter Falcon. And I just never did. And I, obviously now we're talking about Shia LaBeouf or whatever. And I still haven't watched it. So my fault, Jacob. But shout out Jacob though. But anyways, but yeah, man, he obviously has a history of like an unbelievable history when it comes to movies. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the people I want to talk about.
I mean, I think one of the best examples of this is Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, shout out to Leo.
Yeah, if we started with that, it would have been an OD story.
Right?
You can't start with that.
You can't start with that. Gotta save the best for last.
Because he is the best.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I feel like he's the best because he was good as a child.
Bro, I have someone else I could bring up a little bit after that. I know we just talked about a little bit.
You got to write it down to make sure you remember it.
Nah, I got it. But I'm gonna bring it up to see if that will rival you, because that is one of those things where it's not a bad, like, if someone was to be like, this person is.
What was the first movie he was in again? The movie where he was with Robert De Niro. Is that the one?
Nah, it's not the first one. Actually, he actually started off in commercials, which is, I think.
But
no. But I think that's how a lot of kids get into the acting thing. And he had like small roles in some TV shows, but his big break came in 1993 where he was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Okay.
And that was a great movie because he got his first Academy Award nomination, which is dope. At 13 years old, you can get recognized.
We're gonna talk on that in a second. We're definitely gonna talk on that in a second.
And he then kind of it's crazy because he had that, like, he has like one of the best careers in Hollywood in terms of, he was like a heartthrob in the mid 90s in terms of like a lot of women like saw him as whatever, and then he had films like
different still. Not gonna lie, still.
Then he has films like Romeo and Juliet and the Titanic, where like a lot of women back then loved that. And then he got introduced to a wider audience, and then from there it's like he did everything from rom-coms to crime thrillers. The Departed, one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's crazy because he did Blood Diamond and The Departed in the same year.
His accent in Blood Diamond,
it's horrible. I don't know why they gave him an accent.
I don't.
Why couldn't he just be a white person that just traveled there? Okay, but the reporter that was in the movie, she didn't have an accent. No, they could have worked a different angle. I know, but I'm saying they could have worked a different angle.
Yeah, I guess they wanted him to be from South Africa.
Okay, so. Man's they're from Jamaica. They come over here, they lose the accent. So
who does?
A lot of some people.
You're lying.
Some people.
You know a Jamaican that doesn't have an accent?
I know a Jamaican.
because you grew up with Jamaican, so you don't.
I know,
but nah, man. I mean, you can name off all of his movies,
right?
And and I'm not gonna say he's gonna have a miss, but like to have the same level like of acting, and
he levels up every time,
every single time, and it's like, yo, like how can you get better? And obviously we're so amped to see
Flowers of the New Moon.
Bro, I'm so amped to see that.
I'm reading the book right now too, so I want to.
Okay.
That's like one of the first times.
You read?
Huh? How this guy? This guy does a Floyd Mayweather. I promise you, if I have Floyd Mayweather money and I couldn't be able to read, I would take that every time. But I don't know if he can actually read or not. I don't know if 50 Cent was just trolling.
He can't read out loud. There's a difference.
Oh.
There's a difference, no?
You can read checks, though, I guess.
I mean, just read the zeros, brother. That's all I need to see. But
but I was going to say, DiCaprio is different, bro. And this is one of my first times where I'm actually, like, because the movie comes out in like a month or two.
Yeah.
And where I'm actually reading a book right before the movie. I just want to see the similar, like, obviously before you've like read a book in high school and it's like, okay, that movie comes out years later or whatever the case may be. But it's my first time. I'm about to see how it translates. But yeah, man, Leo's one of those guys. He's versatile and it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon.
No. I mean, he's elite. I mean, you can't really use him because then everybody else. Who's the person that you're gonna say? Actually,
I'm gonna go right now. I'll say Christian Bale.
No,
it doesn't even rival him.
No, Leo. Are you talking about Leo?
I'm just making an argument. I'm personally like Leo's up there for me. I don't even But I'm saying Christian
up
Bale,
there.
Yeah, he's
there.
He's there.
That's it. That's the epitome of being a child actor to a star. That's what I think.
Then yeah.
I mean, if listeners can tell me anything different, I would love to hear it. But I think Leo, I'm just thinking about the movies he's been in, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, the fact that he's been in all these movies. It's
so crazy because when you look at his movies, he's a different character in every movie. You can never be like, yo, this is, you know what I mean?
He's not pigeonholed into something. He's not like typecast into anything. He's just like
The Wolf of Wall Street is different.
That's the only movie I was thinking about. I was just watching.
You know what I mean? Like Marvin's Room and Wolf of Wall Street, totally different. Django is different from The Great Gatsby. Like, it's just crazy, like the kind of movies and roles he's in.
But he said, do you hear that? He said that The Great Gatsby, Wolf of Wall Street, and another movie is like a trilogy.
Oh, he said that?
It's like a trilogy. Yeah,
oh, wow.
You never heard him say that?
Nah, I didn't see that. I got to see that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Django. I don't think it's Django, but he said one of them is it might have been Django, but he said it's like he thinks it's like a trilogy.
He's very particular in how he picks his movies, man. But no, Christian Bale, I mean, he started with The Empire of the Sun, and that remains one of his favorite performances by fans. Yeah. And the film being the second theatrical release for the actor, he started off with Me on the Land in the Fairway, which was one of his big screen debuts. Mm-hmm. And he filmed The Empire of the Sun before he turned 13. So that's an incredible performance for him, being basically a teenager. And then his first on-screen credit was in 1986 in Anastasia, The Mystery of Anna. And at the age of 12, he basically just, took off. And he was in Little Woman, which we talked about with, we did that for Jolie.
Oh, Little Woman.
At the age of 20. And then from there, it's like, obviously, Dark Knight. I mean, you could just list all his movies and go crazy. The Fighter. Prestige. Like, he... It's crazy.
That movie's so great. I love that movie so much.
He's so good, and then the fact that he's British is like, man, I'd be forgetting that. It's like,
he does a really good job of. But you can tell by the way he like moves his mouth, because like there's a way that like British people like move their mouth sometimes that you can tell that they're like not naturally like speaking with an American accent. Or something like that.
I forgot even American Psycho, man.
Oh my gosh! And you remember we watched the GQ interview on that one where they actually almost didn't do it.
Yeah,
and like they almost tried to take the script away from them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, we're doing this though." And then just like, you know what I mean? And it was like a big time risk, but then ended up being something. I think Marvel wasted him being Gore the God Butcher in the movies, because first of all, Gore is supposed to be disgusting.
Yeah.
But then they just used him as a waste man essentially. In a terrible movie, absolutely atrocious,
horrible movie.
But anyways, I have Ryan Gosling.
Oh, shout out the Canadian.
Yeah, but I think he falls in the same thing as you. You were talking about Shia LaBeouf. He doesn't.
I have no roles. That's some childhood. What Fab? He said he. Don't
worry. You're gonna be a part of the documentary that comes out of kids taking steroids. Don't worry. Don't worry, bro. Donkey at 2 years old, huh? Don't worry about it.
It was Max Milk on the corner of Weston Road.
Steroids.
Max Milk, bro.
All right, bro. Whatever you want to say. But anyways, he didn't have much movie roles. He was in a TV show. Obviously, he was in Disney Channel's The Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah,
he appeared in only for 2 years.
Justin Timberlake too.
Britney Spears. Obviously they were featured stars. Disney knows how to pick them. I don't know, but
they really do. Though.
They really do. It's crazy. But he didn't really have much in between there, and then he catapulted his way into the Notebook,
superstar,
The Notebook, which is like unbelievable, with another Canadian, Rachel McAdams. And then he just went on to do amazing things, where he was obviously in La La Land. He was in Blade Runner, 2049. He was obviously in The Nice Guys. He was in Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans, yeah.
Obviously in the new Barbie movie where he kills it.
That's Ken,
so then I don't know, man. I think that it's just like the Leo thing is that Leo was good as a kid, and had different roles,
right?
And also good as an adult, but like some people have like the weight is like
it's like different. The consistency that Leo had.
Yeah, it's not unmatched. Consistent. It's like you know what I mean. So I think that that's where Leo separates himself. But Ryan Gosling obviously is.
What about? Aren't you a Gray Man Defender? You like that movie? The one that came on.
One thing. What do you mean Defender? It needs to be defended?
I think some people don't really talk about it enough.
Well, I guess because it's a Netflix movie, man. Netflix ruins stuff sometimes, bro. Come on, man.
You think when the movie comes on Netflix, it just like waters down?
Ruins it, bro. Because I talked to my own self plug here. Remember I was in that movie.
Yo, you were in a movie, bro?
Shut up, bro. Remember I was in that movie in Australia.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the director, and I asked him like, "How do you feel about streaming and all that stuff?" And he's a director, obviously, and he was saying pretty much that he hates it because like it like ruins movies because now you're putting a movie into like a small screen. Right. Like now it's like nobody wants to go to a movie theater anymore. Nobody wants to do any of that stuff. You just sit at home and watch it on demand, which is great. But at the same time, it just didn't have the same feel. Like when I saw
it's good for convenience, but it's not good for the experience, man.
What movie is it? When They See Us? Is that the one with Jonathan Majors and Idris Elba? Is that the one that was on Netflix? I forget what it's called, but anyways, I watched it. I didn't know it was a Netflix movie. I watched it.
How Did They Fall?
How yeah. Why did I say?
I don't know.
I don't know why the heck I said that. But anyways, I watched it in theaters because I didn't know that it was a Netflix movie. Watched it in theaters. Fire, fire in theaters. Then I went home and I was like, it's a Netflix movie. I was like, what? Why do you guys ruin this, man? And I mean, the movie is so good. So I don't know. I
mean, they give out bags on Netflix. I guess that's why.
Yeah. Well, as an actor and actress, obviously I'll do it.
Like Adam Sandler, I know he's getting like
man's getting racks,
like 50 million to do.
But I'd understand doing it, but at the same time, it just like takes away, man. It's like we're moving further and further away from. You know what I mean? What we hold true and dear to our heart. Like, we love going to movies. Like, we'll go to the movies for anything. I'll go watch anything at the theater. I don't care what it is.
I'm watching Dark Knight this weekend. It's back at theaters. It came out 2008.
I don't care what it is. Incredibles came out, I think came back out on theaters. I forget, it was like a couple weeks ago. And I didn't get to watch it, but like, I would have watched it easily.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't care that I have Incredibles at home. It's like a different experience. So, anyways, I think the last one I have here is Daniel Radcliffe.
The Harry Potter guy.
Harry Potter. London-born actor Daniel Radcliffe. He only was 12 when he started Harry Potter, obviously, and there was, I think, 8 films. And it obviously catapulted him into his stardom, but it kind of pigeonholed him.
I'm about to say the typecasting thing you're talking about is almost what he had to experience.
Yeah, because like no matter what he does now, it's like, bro, he's Harry Potter.
Hey, it's Harry Potter.
And he's been in so many different things, like so many different opportunities, like Swiss Army Man, the Weird Al Yankovic story.
He actually did really good in that.
Yeah, and like there's so many different things. We saw a clip the other day of him like flexing and screaming and like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's interesting because it's not his like, I don't know, man. It's not like it's his fault, but it's like somebody tweeted it that I agreed with, is that he probably just takes whatever role he finds that's like super cool.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I already get money from Harry Potter all the time. I'll get money for the rest of my life. So he's like, yo, why don't I just do something and not care about the money?
Right.
And he was in not American Skinhead. Was it American Skinhead he was in? Is it American Skinhead? Is that what that movie called?
Let me see.
Because I know Edward Norton did like a same kind of thing, but I think what's his name's in it. We'd have to look that up. But anyways.
Yeah. Huh? I mean, no, that's big time.
So that's my list, and I think that those are some of the best ones. Obviously, we're leaving some out, and you guys can definitely let us know which ones we're leaving out. We have a long list.
He was in some bangers. Sorry to cut you off.
He was, bro.
He was in some other good movies that he made appearances in. I forgot about, like Trainwreck or Now You See Me.
Oh yeah. Now You See Me too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I remember.
He was in Lost City. It came out with Sandra Bullock. Yeah, no, whatever. But I got Scarlett Jo, man. Can't forget Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, you were gonna? Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna. Yeah, my fault. She's one of the most successful, probably one of the most popular female actresses of our time in the 21st century. I would say, for sure, especially after donning the Black Widow character and being a part of the superhero stuff.
Just like catapulted her even further.
Right, even further, because she was already an A-lister, but before, obviously being in a superhero movie franchise, you become like a commercialized person. But she was starring in Oscar-nominated films like Jojo the Rabbit and Marriage Story, which is really dope and more recent, but along with some other things that she did. But at 9 years old, man, she was in a skit with Conan O'Brien, and from there she had parts in Home Alone 3. I don't know if you knew she was in that. She was in a couple films.
Why in God's name would I watch Home Alone 3?
I know.
Why would I watch Home Alone 3?
I know.
I watched it, but why would I remember it?
They took it too far.
Too far.
Hey, we got a pod come on with that. Like movies that they gotta know when.
Yeah, when to cut it off. Yeah. There's a lot of movies like that. Transformers is one of them.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, give it up.
That is debatable because it's still a fun watch.
It's still a fun watch.
Yes.
So you think man's jumping across the... Okay. You think man's jumping across the highway...
Say it for the episode, man.
Jumping across the highway like they're Superman all of a sudden.
The stakes are too high. So they have to
family,
continue
bro. Yeah, family, right.
Exactly.
Family,
and when it comes to the family, anything can get done.
Family, right.
But nah, it's just crazy because then she went to Lucy Fell and Just Cause, and I know she's been in like movies like Match Point. But this is the craziest thing with Clint Eastwood, who directed that. But this is the craziest thing, bro. She was in, I told you, watched this movie, I think a couple weeks ago, Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray. The age gap was wild. And she was portraying someone who was, I guess, in their early 20s or mid 20s, but she was actually like 17, 18 when she shot the movie. So when you look back on it and you see her performance, you're like, yo, this is a skilled actress, bro. Because like I did not think she was that age. I thought she was like 28 in this movie, bro. Like obviously she's cute, she's beautiful, all that, but like just her mannerisms, just the way she delivered, just how she kept up with a world class, actor and Bill Murray, and who's been known to be someone that ad-libs or someone that's kind of a little difficult on set sometimes. So the fact that she found her stride with him and was in Lost Translation, and it was a Sofia Coppola film, which I mean, it's dope to be in a film with the daughter of one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty cool. But we could rattle off like some quick names real quick just to let the people know. Like there's Michael B. Jordan. He's doing his thing right now. Zendaya,
Kurt Russell,
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
But I think we got pretty much like all the You said,
I don't want to get into that. But I guess she was in Spider-Man. I guess.
But yeah, I think that was a pretty good. List. Oh, you know what? I have to say Drew Barrymore, bro. You talked about her earlier in the intro, but
I know we forgot to.
She achieved
She had a little
fame
gap there, but yes.
As a childhood actor,
she
for
had
her
a gap
adorable
because
role
of the childhood acting. That's why she had a gap.
Exactly, but she had the adorable role as Gertie in E.T. And that was a great movie. But like you said, she had a very tumultuous kind of.
And I think the movie she came back with was Scream. Was Scream 1.
Yeah,
Scream
exactly.
Was the movie she came back to, and then
because unfortunately she got into drugs and alcohol, and like you said, the substance abuse stuff that you're talking about,
fault.
it wasn't really.
I would never blame her.
It was the conditions and the environments that she was a part of.
She was only like 8 years old. Like, how are you in God's name control that? Like, you can't. Like, you don't even know what you're doing.
But fortunately, she saw the other side of it, and we now have the Barrymore now that we have, and it's crazy because I think she is one of them when it comes to rom-coms. She's been in so many. Her chemistry with Adam Sandler is amazing. I love 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Or Wedding Singer and all those kind of movies. But she was also in Charlie's Angels, and that's like what catapults her to being like an A-lister or whatever. People think it's a good movie or not. It was definitely a different time. And now she has a talk show and she's in fashion and she still does movies right now. What was she in? Blended? Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, I felt like it was a continuation. We talked about that.
Yeah.
50 First Dates. So
so couldn't finish that pod without mentioning her. But before we get into Act 2, bro, let's just take a quick media time out. We'll be right back with some SceneDMs.
I know we joke around a lot in SceneDMs podcast, but these sweaters are really serious. We're really serious about these sweaters. They're really good sweaters. They look great.
Yeah, if you want to get connected, man, stay plugged in with the merch. We got it coming. We got hoodies, T-shirts, sweats, all that. So stay tuned.
Deuce Wayne and Mikhail here. So check it out.
We are back. What's going on, SceneDMs? Issue 23, the one where they're all grown up. And it can take a couple of years for certain actors to kind of find their stride and perfect their craft and truly create something that's great. But for some, it comes really natural. For some people, like just like a basketball player, some people you're just like, yo, this guy has it. Like, he's doing what he's doing at 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's like, yo, some people, they just blessed with that talent, that innate talent. And, casting a child is always risky. It's always risky. You never know how it's going to pan out. You're gambling on them, but especially if they're playing a pivotal role. So I want to ask you, are there any specific performances that you remember from certain child actors that you're like, yo, that, like, I couldn't see anybody else doing that? Or how they find the range or the ability to do such things at that age?
I think that it's more like not really if anybody else could do it, but kind of just the fact that they're able to do it at such a young age. And I'll say Macaulay Culkin.
Nice.
Home Alone. Home Alone 2 are my favorite Christmas movies.
For sure.
Which some people will still argue that they're not Christmas movies, but
I'm one of those, but yeah.
We got to keep going.
How is it a Christmas movie? Huh? How is it a Christmas movie?
Anyways, he does such a great job at home. You disrespectful son of a... I promise you. Anyways.
His family leaves to go on vacation.
During Christmas.
All right, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, continue.
All right, anyways. Don't get me started. You see what I'm talking about, bro? So
I know people are on my side, bro. I know people are on my side.
I know there are. Probably the same people that say Die Hard is a Christmas movie, too.
It is.
Shut up. Anyways, Obviously, we all know Home Alone. Kevin is left accidentally back at his crib while his family goes on vacation, and he kind of wished for it, and then he got it, and he was amped, whatever. But he did such a good job with like acting by himself.
He did. Remember when he was in the bathroom and he stopped the shaving cream on? He screamed.
Like,
that's funny. Yeah.
And he really acted by himself for like a while.
Yeah,
and
he
like
carried
both,
the
in
movie,
both 1 and 2. He acted by himself, and when obviously the family wasn't there, and then his just like the charisma that he had and like the timing that he had at such a young age to be able to do all this stuff and like make it iconic like he did. It was so cool. Like it's weird. Like I don't know how he was able to do that, but that's definitely a performance that.
What about Dakota Fanning in Man on Fire? Ooh. I thought that was an incredible performance from her. 2004. Classic movie with Denzel Washington. I mean, she was 9 years old when she played the daughter of Mark Anthony, and John Creasy is one of those guys in that movie. But it's so cool to see them reunite for Equalizer 3. Yeah. And man, just seeing her hold her own and hang out with the bodyguard in Mexico and all this stuff. It was just cute, man. It was real cool. Just her in the backseat when he was kind of being standoffish and dry to her. She ran out the car. I thought that was a good performance from her.
No, it definitely was. It was a great performance. I also liked her in War of the Worlds. I like that one too with Tom Cruise. She actually got to act with a couple of heavyweights when she was young still. Right. But one for me that like stands out. We actually talked about this movie a couple episodes ago. But Pursuit of Happiness, Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. Are you sure you don't want to put After Earth as? No.
Yo, you're cheesing me today, bro. Holy, you're really trying to get my nerves. Show this guy. Anyways, Pursuit of Happiness. I think Jaden Smith did such a good job. Yeah. And I don't know if it was because he was acting alongside his dad, but I feel like there'll be more pressure. But I don't know, man.
I don't even feel like they were acting. That's a crazy thing. You know what I mean?
That's how good he did. Yeah. I honestly believe that, like, I don't know. Maybe Will's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is that he can bring out that in his son. Yeah. Well, clearly not After Earth. But Pursuit of Happiness, I just don't know how he was able to portray such a kid that was like so frustrated with his dad not having everything, not having this. And I don't know if it was easy because they just like acted like it, but he had like a present dad. He had Will. He had stuff. So how does he display an experience that he's never had? You know what I'm saying? So like for some kids, like they're easy to pull off of that experience or pull off of some part of the experience. Yeah. But he's always had his dad. His dad was always there. We read his book and his dad was always present and everything.
Didn't he have to like lobby for him to get the job? Like he had to make sure Jaden, took classes and really prepared well. It wasn't like, oh, you're getting this part. I think he had to even convince the director or something like that.
I don't know about Will convincing the director, but possibly. I don't remember. In the book, but I just know that he did such a great job. Obviously, Pursuit of Happiness is based on Chris Gardner's life, and the fact that he was able to push through from being a homeless man with his son living on the street to being a successful broker. And Jaden played his son, Christopher, and man, he just did one hell of a job. So
did a great job.
I think that's one of the ones up there for me.
I think one of the newer ones is Jacob Tremblay. A lot of people probably haven't seen this movie, but you guys should definitely check it out. 2015 as Jack in the Room. It's called The Room or whatever, but it was a great movie, and I think that it was cool because Brie Larson was in it as well. So another superhero kind of branch from that universe. But Tremblay is a heart. It's like a real good film, like a feel good film. Like he captures like the boy's sweet nature, the wonder, the innocence, the curiosity. I think he just does a great job. And Brie obviously won an Oscar for her leading performance, but Tremblay was definitely one of the people that I actually enjoyed watching in that film.
No, he did a good job. I thought that movie was crazy good. Some familiar name and face. Actually, no, I lied. I'm gonna use this one. Lindsay Lohan in Parent Trap. I love Parent Trap. 98. Jesus, I love Parent Trap. The fact that she was able to play two different people, twins.
Yeah, Haley and Annie.
For the longest time, obviously I was a naive kid. I thought that she was a twin.
I mean,
because she plays a twin in another movie when she's older.
Yeah. But I was gonna say though, but this is also the time of Mary-Kate and Ashley, so it's not hard for you to make that distinction.
I was like, she must have a twin, blah blah blah. But the fact that I was able, again, I was a child, but the fact that she was able to do that and have two different personalities, two different accents, do all this stuff and like act by herself essentially when they were interacting, I was like, yo, they have to, we watch a bunch of behind the scenes, bro. They have to talk on one side and talk on the other side. That's like crazy for her to be able to do
crazy
that.
Focus.
Like, crazy focus, and to do that at such a young age and like effortlessly, it seemed like, yo, that's crazy.
She was talented. Unfortunately, she also ran into some problems, but it's good to see her on the other side of that.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about her, but I guess, I mean, she did have Mean Girls, which is fire. But
then there's a couple more, like, Chloe Grace Moretz in Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I love Kick-Ass. 2010. Great movie. One of those child stars that's been acting since then. She's been in so many films, bro. Kick-Ass is one of those good vigilante superhero movies. I like movies that kind of come out of nowhere and have like an unusual premise.
Yeah.
And it's so realistic too. It's dumb but realistic.
Like, do you think it's realistic?
In the sense that, like, remember, he's getting his ass whooped, bro. You can't just he thought he could go out there and fight crime.
Yeah.
He was getting
beat. I thought he was Batman. Yeah, his ass whooped. That shit was hilarious.
I was crying. But nah, she was definitely, had a lot of profanity in that movie, and all that with the dialogue, but she did a lot of stuff, man. And since then she's appeared in 32 feature films. So it seems like she's working at a quick and high rate. Yeah.
The last one I have on my list is like I said, familiar face. And it's Spider-Man, Tom Holland, in The Impossible. Where
he did a great job.
Great job in that movie. Where it's where his family is actually based on a true story. Where his family is stuck in a tsunami, and he just plays a really good job of being a son that's in fear. He's playing alongside his is it Natalie Portman? No, Natalie Portman. Nicole Kidman.
I think it was Nicole Kidman.
Is it Nicole Kidman? I'd have to look that up still, but he just does a great job of, like, the emotion, the range, and everything he's able to do at such a young age.
Yeah,
it was actually really impressive. And even to the point where he was just like, his mom's like leg was like hanging off or something like that, and he was just like disgusted by seeing it. But then like the emotional range, I don't know, it was just like a lot. So I actually really liked how he acted in that. But all I do because I watched the movie after watching Spider-Man, so all I think about is like Spider-Man. Why don't you just swing off the tree? I mean, I don't know what the
problem. This guy tried to cross over the premises. That's crazy. I think it was Naomi Watts. That was who it was.
Naomi Watts. That's who it was.
But I mean, man, that was a pretty good list. Some of these movies I got to rewatch because, man, you just reminded me of how great some of these were. But before we get to Act 3, let's just take a quick break.
Yo, Dwayne, where'd you get that sweater?
You mean this sweater right here?
Yeah.
The SceneDM sweater.
Yeah.
SceneDMs podcast, man. They got some stuff coming out. If I were you, I'd stay hip to it.
Oh, crazy.
Man, where'd you get that sweater?
Oh, I also got it from SceneDMs.
What you talking about, Makai? I ain't never seen that before.
What are you talking about? It says SceneDMs.
Yo. I said you're, not yo. You're. We are back. SceneDMs, issue 23. Another episode. Having a great time talking about child stars that have, developed into consistent superstars when it comes to Hollywood. And issue 23, the one where they're all grown up. I have a quick question before we get into Act 3 though. Why is there no categories for kid actors when it comes to the Oscars? Like, they deserve some recognition. They deserve their flowers. I think we just talked about how hard and difficult it is to even pull off some of the work that they're able to accomplish at a high level because of their talent. I don't get why they don't get to be recognized for their craft.
I don't know. We had this discussion before, and it's very annoying because it's like you expect kids to essentially compete in the exact same categories as adults, and it's like very weird because it's like, yo, like, how do you expect a child to compete? And then is it like favoritism? Did they deserve to win it, or was it just like, oh, they're adorable, let's give it to them, whatever, right? So I think that they definitely should have a category specifically for kids because it gives them the opportunity to be like, work to something.
Yeah.
Get something. Right. So I feel like that's
maybe we would add to the distractions and the pressure, like we already alluded to. Yeah. That some of the stuff that they contributes to why they fall off or go through what they go through. But I'm in agreement with you, bro. I think that they deserve to have some type of recognition because especially if they're putting in so much work, like. It's crazy to me, especially because winning an award is so hard. Even as an adult, like you know how many people rarely get an awards, or it's like, yo, they gave Denzel the Oscar, he should have got this one before that, or like it's always stuff like that. So it's like, imagine if they had one, as a kid, like when Leo, before he got his first one. It's like imagine if he had one from before. Yeah. So I don't know, but that was a quick little thought, little question, but before we get, I've seen DMs. We don't just talk about movies and films. We also, show love to the TV series and, television side of things. So when it comes to television series, especially back in the day, or were there any kind of childhood actors that you came home from school and you're like, yeah, I'm cutting this show on? Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire type vibe, or Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah,
oh my goodness,
daddy.
Jeez.
I think that I was a big time Disney Channel guy.
Okay.
Or Family Channel, as they call it in Toronto. I don't know if they call it Disney. I don't know anymore. I'm too old. But essentially, Raven Simone, and That's a Raven.
Yeah, she did her thing in that.
Did her thing, killed that show. Loved that show, and I also loved Taj Mori from Smart Guy.
Yeah, Smart Guy was a great show.
It was a great show. He killed that. I really enjoyed Smart Guy a lot.
Smart Guy was a really good show, and it got your guy Jason Weaver.
Jason Weaver as well, and Mo Tibbs, but I was going to say Cuban Good brother, but Mo Tibbs. But
it's crazy. Sorry, it's crazy.
And Essex Atkins.
Oh yeah. Yo,
the TV show's packed still. I forgot.
Hard body, cast is crazy. I know they had a good time. Beyonce was on that show. They had a lot of celebrities on that show.
Yeah, Beyonce and Jason Weaver trying to holler.
Yeah, with the water. Yeah. Need some H2O?
They have mad people on that show, and the thing about these shows, like back in the day, that I enjoyed at least, were that they actually taught you like life lessons,
right?
Like things that we're actually dealing with,
right?
And to the point where like, That's a Raven dealt with like some like a racism in a store of somebody following somebody because of their skin color, yada yada yada. Then it was who else was it? Taj Mori, when he was saying like how adults are trying to get to kids on these chat rooms and stuff like that. And it's just like things that like were real, like it wasn't like, exactly. It's like real stuff. It wasn't any of that playing around stuff. It was like serious stuff. And those two shows alone and two actors and the actor and actress were just like one of my favorites to come home and watch. I think I would add probably
sister.
Oh yeah, the twins. Yeah, of course. Great show. Yeah. Also had what's that man's name? Roger, who played Roger?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
What's the man's name again? He's in B2K. Is that I don't remember what they're called. Is that B2K? Bro, I was sheltered as a child, fam. I wasn't allowed to listen to that.
This guy said he was sheltered, bro.
I was, fam. I wasn't allowed to listen to that kind of music. Marquise Houston.
Yeah.
That's his name.
He was not part of B2K, but whatever.
Is it B2K?
Yeah, he's not a part of B2K though.
He's not part of B2K?
Marion's cousin.
He was not part of B2K?
No, he was not.
Are you sure?
I promise you he was not.
I don't know, man.
B2K was Rasby, it was J Book, and it was Omarion. Bro, you got served,
like 5 people, bro.
It was 3 mans, bro. I had all their albums.
What group was it where Omarion and Marquise were in the same group?
They were never in the same group. They were just family, so they used to like have them together.
Don't do that.
Bro.
Yeah, they were, bro.
Fact check this guy, please.
Please, I want to
You just said you're sheltered, and you're trying to argue me.
Because I at least know that. I grew up and I was like, let me get back on the facts. You feel me?
Oh, B2K was my jam. I'm not going to lie to you.
But definitely Sister with Tia and Tamara.
Yeah. Who also blossomed into be some adult as well, because in the game she played.
I don't know which one it was. Was it Tia or was it Tamara? I have no idea.
Inside of that.
I don't know. But whoever was killed that joint. The game that was tough. Melanie was tough.
She was on there with ass.
Yeah, the crazy in that
law
show.
School.
And then the turkey baster episode had me weak. Anyways, who else?
Put the hot sauce in that joint.
I know, right? On his drizzy. What's it called? What is the other one?
I mean, you mentioned Even Steven. That's a good one.
Even Stevens with Shia LaBeouf. Like LaBeouf. I don't know how to say the man's last name.
We're butchering
I'm butchering the hell out of your name, bro. I love you though. You're my dog. Yeah, him and Ren. Ren, who was played, who also, I forget her name, but she also played Kim Possible, which was also an elite show, but that's not like real life, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's animated, but it's an elite show for sure.
Yeah, man, everything Disney was just my Zoe 101 with Jamie Lee Spears.
Did you watch the movie that came out a couple months ago?
No, I'm not gonna do that. Some people just need to let it go, bro. Some people need to let it go. You watched it?
I watched it.
I didn't watch it. So. I just like to keep, like, you know what I mean? I like to keep, like, my thoughts of how they were and how the show was.
You want to see how they age, bro? You don't want to see...
Why would I want to see that? I saw the trailer and I almost threw up. I'm like, I'm good. Why in God's name would they do this? It's just like ruining a classic. That's what people do. We talked about this. You got to let things go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Like you said, when they did The Sopranos and they made like a spin-off and all that stuff is like, so sometimes it's just unnecessary. You just got to let it go. So
speaking of The Sopranos, which is by far the greatest TV show of all time, I like the kids in that show as well. I thought they did a good job. They were very annoying, so very annoying, very spoiled.
Very spoiled, but they actually did a really good job.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job. Trying to think off the top. Well, not Phil.
Would you count like all that, like the cat, like those guys? I don't know how they were teenagers, right?
And teenagers do count
because it's kind of like a SNL, but like the kid version. Like they're doing like skits, right?
Yeah. I guess it does count. Yeah. But yeah, I would pick, like I said, Raven, Simone, Taj, Maury, Shy.
Yeah.
And
these guys are starting five. It's tough.
Easy, bro. Easy. Those shows are my go-to. I go home and watch those right now. So.
Yo, if we're missing any, holla at us. Let us know. Yeah, you know where to find us for sure. Tag us. But
we got. I forget. I'm forgetting some names. I'm blanking on some names right now.
You probably think about it after.
Yeah, I'm cheesed.
I mean, shoot, that's been a great episode. And right now we're getting to the recommendation part of the show. The Let Me Put You On segment. It's part of the show where we suggest one TV show, one movie for our listeners, for you audiences out there to just, take in our recommendations. I think that we have never let anybody astray, like at all. I hope not. I've been getting good reviews from the movies that we've suggested and the shows that we suggested, and we try to keep it within the same wheelhouse of the discussion that we talked about. So when it comes to movies or TV, who do you got?
I'm gonna say for movie, I'm gonna go with Holes. I don't know if anybody's ever if you've seen that, just rewatch it. Obviously,
yeah.
And if you didn't remember it, watch it.
It's so cool because they had like a reunion the other day. I saw that really? On Instagram. Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Well, Shy, of course, Shia, and I think for TV shows, I'm gonna go with That's So Raven. No, I lied. Smart guy.
I'm gonna give you like 2 seconds.
Smart guy.
That's it.
Smart guy.
Okay.
Yes, smart guy. That's my two options.
Over That's So Raven?
No. It's just because younger.
Okay.
I want to see the talent of the.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a really good job, and then Mo, what's it? Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, and then Jason Weaver are actually hilarious.
It's crazy because man, Raven was a triple threat though. She was dancing, singing.
I know. They had them elite episodes.
She was a comedian. Her physical comedy was out this world.
Eddie was a comedian too.
Facts.
And he was a prime example of
I don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. I didn't want to talk about him, but he's a prime example of going wrong. So.
Yeah. For a movie, I got Sleepless in Seattle, just because remember the kid that played with Tom Hanks because Tom Hanks, what is it, the male version of being widowed? Is it just a widower?
Audience? Widow?
Is it widow?
Widow, yeah, it's still widow.
Yeah, so
it's not gender based.
Bro, I don't want to get canceled. Chill.
Did I know? I didn't know either. But you said it, so I mean, salt.
But I thought the kid did an amazing job. And it reminded me of a different time where kids were way more independent. Because in the end of the film, he literally travels to thing by himself. Like, he gets on a plane and everything. I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't think at 8 years. I mean, you probably can, but I just don't see it. It doesn't happen.
I'm sure not gonna let an 8-year-old on the plane by himself.
I don't know. I just know he ended up at the Empire State Building by himself, bro. At like 8 years old, just to try and get his dad and Shorty back together. But that was a really great movie. And then for TV, I'm gonna go with Boy Meets World just because it just plays an intricate part in my life, man. I used to literally come home after that and watch that. And then Mr. Feeney on the Fence. Yeah, he had so many gems. The father was hilarious. They
grow up together too, which they can show their acting as they grow up as well.
Exactly. So you talk about great shows with cast that that's a show I didn't want to end. It eventually got to the end, but I literally grew up with that cast and with them, and they taught me a lot about life. So that probably is my pick for that. But that wraps up another great episode, bro.
Well, it's a great episode, man. I think we really did give people some information, and obviously gave each other some information. But that is the end of issue 23, the one where they grow up. Correct?
They all grow up.
You grow up.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
My fault, bro. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys tune in again. And I always will allow Due to finish off the show.
I was like, first of all, you can't allow me to do nothing, bro. I'm a grown ass man. Anyways,
are you gonna exactly? That's what I thought.
I don't.
No, you don't want to do it. Yeah, don't worry. But you're going to. Don't worry about it. Salt. Figure it out.
I was lucky we're on a time constraint, man. Okay. But you guys, man, make sure to check us out on our Instagram page, on our socials, Twitter, SceneDMs. hit us up if you have any suggestions. You want us to review any movies, any topics, anything like that. But we have some great stuff coming up for season 2. We can't stress it enough, just because we know we've been waiting for this to happen for so long, and we're finally doing it in vibe. Got my brother with me. So amazing to have these conversations and just to talk movies and everything that we love and about the film industry. So stay tuned for the next episode. We will see y'all for issue 24. It's going to be a good one.
See ya.